Hey y'all, hey, it's your favorite baking business coach, Cynthia Carr, your host of Bakers Unleashed podcast. I love to give a little disclaimer at the beginning of each episode that goes a little something like this. The nature of this show you're about to witness is not to cause harm or inflict any pain on any person involved or spoken of. This segment is to enlighten its intended audience and for us to just woosah. We ask that we are not held accountable for what we may say because it's just simply our truth. Since we have to remain professional at all times, this space is where we get it off our chest. Because indeed, sometimes, just sometimes, the people we service get on our damn nerves. Welcome to Bakers Unleashed podcast. And today we have special guest Lonnie from Milan's Edible Arts. Hey, Lonnie. So, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, guys. My name is Lonnie, better known as the Krazy Cake Lady, and I'm the owner of Milan's Edible Arts.
Yes, yeah. So let's get into the our questions for today. So, what made you get started in the baking business?
What made me get started is my love for baking.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about that. You know how you got started, where it came from, and how did we get to Milan's Edible Art?
Okay, it came from a family of women who cook and bake. Specifically, both sides of my family, my dad's side and my mom's side. But I would say more so my mother's side. And just the ability to be creative, like my grandmother was very instrumental because she had the kitchen with all the sugar, salt, butter, flour, things in it. And she allowed me to just be myself.
Grandma's be having
Oh,
everything.
absolutely. But not only that, she could throw down in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So she made pound cake. People would come to her house just for her sweet tea, things like that. So a lot of those are nostalgic things for me, like memories of the gingerbread and things like that. So it just instilled a fire in me to just make.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is a typical day like for you, running Milan? Like, what's a typical day? Like, I follow you over on TikTok and I see a lot of singing, with cake, over there. And I love your voice, by the way. I love your voice. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about what's a typical day for you inside of your home baking.
Honestly, I think it depends on what day of the week it is. To be honest, right. So I'm trying to streamline my processes so I'm not so overwhelmed because there was a time and place at the very beginning where I thought that everything had to be done 2 days prior. But I've narrowed it down so that I know that certain days, depending on my orders or everything I'm baking, and I'm getting my buttercream together, and then I'm putting those in the freezer, and then it's like, okay, inventory. What do I have?
Right.
But I would say typically every day, what are musts is me checking the email, checking, like the website, always social media. I'm trying to cover all the platforms, which is a challenge to be consistent. Because I hear you say a lot, post 3 times a day.
Yes. What the hell?
What am I posting?
Yes. So how do you balance your home life and your business life, or do sometimes they collide into each other and you feel like, okay, I'm ready to pull my goddamn hair? Like, how do you balance that?
By being intentional, honestly, because it's hard when it's something that you eat, sleep, breathe. Like I have to be mindful, at the end of the day when you're like, okay, I'm going to roost on and I'm going to just scroll through Facebook. It's cake.
Yeah.
Because that's all you know what I'm saying? It's cake on Facebook. It's cake everywhere. So I have to be intentional about setting aside time or saying, I'm going to cut off orders for these days, whatever those days are in my calendar that are devoted to family or honestly myself, because I tend to put myself.
Right. That's what I find. That's what I tend to struggle with sometimes with cutting off.
Yes.
Because we can't do it everything and we can't do it all. And we're always, every week is like you'll get that customer and say, oh, I had somebody that canceled on me. You get those too? Yes. Where are these bakers at? No, seriously, where are these bakers that's cutting off orders? Because every week it's like you get that phone call or you'll get that visit in your store. I had a baker that canceled on me. Can you do a cake? I really feel like I'm completely lying. like, where are these people? Like, where are these people? And so, goes back to what I was saying. That's what I find difficult sometimes for me to cut off and when to say no. Because, when you're booked, yeah, you want to stay booked and busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't want to be booked, busy, and tired. You know what I mean? And then you hearing everybody's sob stories, they need a cake and somebody canceled on them, or even if nobody didn't cancel on them, and they need a cake and I'm feeling sorry for them. Yeah, I'll do it. Then at the same time, I'm seeing dollar signs in my head because it's like, that's a $300 cake.
Right.
Turn down the sky, girl, what do you need?
I got you.
Yes, I got you. Like, what do you need? You know what I mean? So yeah, tell us. So, what are your favorite things to bake and why?
Ooh, my favorite thing.
Yes. What is your favorite things to bake?
It's cookies. But can I tell you,
Really?
cookies are driving me nuts.
Really?
So I started the DBA, Dessert by the Month.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks of Crazy Cake Lady, which is great.
Mhm.
That's me. That's who I
Mhm.
am. That's custom things, right? But I also bake, so they forget. So I'm seeing them go all these other places,
Yeah.
for desserts. And I'm like, no, I make, non-decorative stuff too.
Mhm.
So I created the DBA, Dessert by the Month,
Mhm.
and I've been working on these cookies. But I am I don't want to say OCD, but very particular. And bacon is like iffy.
Yeah,
So
it's a science.
I got the wrong butter,
Yeah,
because it
really
was
is a
on
science.
sale, and now my cookies are flat, or my oven is being really funky with me
Right.
today. And why do they look a certain way?
It's a science.
I love it because I don't really have to decorate.
Right.
Like I can just be creative.
Right. So you're a scratch baker or a mixed baker, or do you kind of dip and dab?
I dip and dab.
Right.
Like some is doctor,
Mhm. Yeah.
mix.
Yeah.
Some is scratches. Depends on what it is.
Right, because you get so much back and forth, on social media. Yeah, you get so much back and forth on social media about scratch baking and baking from a mix.
Yes.
And if you're not a scratch baker, you're not a real baker. I bake from a mix, but don't be fooled. I can bake from scratch as well. But when you're in a retail store, and you're baking at the volume that we bake at, we ain't got time to be baking from scratch.
And it's not reliable.
It's not reliable. So sometimes it can kind of irritate me a little bit, when people say you're not a real baker because you're not baking from scratch, you bake from a mix. Girl, I bake from a mix quick, a doctored up commercial mix. I don't go buy the small boxes of Dunkin' Hines Pillsbury, in the grocery store. I buy in bulk. We buy 50-pound bags of, cake mix, at a time. Because like I said, when you're baking from volume, like we are, it's no time to really bake from a mix because it's too many hands, on those recipes. And you have one tiny little slip on that scratch recipe. And you got to throw that whole goddamn batch in trash.
Yeah.
And also scratch baking is so expensive. Yes. Do you know how much overhead will cost you or how much inventory will cost you if you're working from a scratch mix in a retail setting? And especially if you got multiple hands, on those recipes, at a time. It's very hard. It's very hard. Don't get me wrong. I don't knock people who bake from scratch, but the ones that's baking from home and they baking from scratch, they're going to very soon change their mind once they get their ass inside of a retail shop. They're going to be like, bake from scratch? Who, how, what? And then realizing you got to charge so much money, for your product. It's like people are kind of complaining a little bit now about the pricing of things. Just imagine what you got to increase that price to even more if you bake, from scratch. You know what I mean? Yeah. So how do you stay motivated during difficult times? What do you do, and how do you stay motivated?
She's my cake.
Oh my
That part. I have been stalking her for
oh my goodness.
When did you do the event of Patasco? How long?
That was that was shit. Was that 1920? I'm gonna say either 2019 or 2020. That was my first time doing an event
It's
like
been
that.
a long time.
That was my first time doing an event like that. And honestly, they probably have been around before, but I've never seen like dessert shows done before I did mine, because that's how I came up with the idea. Because I was like, I'm always seeing cake shows, whereas though you go to these cake shows and they selling supplies and things like that, but never a cake show where it's based around bakers. And it's like, once I did that, I've seen all of these other dessert shows, come out that's on tour and things like that. And I was going to take our, what it was called, BAKE. It was the acronym BAKE, BAKE. bakers are creating expo, creating spelled with a K
Okay.
and not a C. That was the name of our expo. I think I'm gonna bring the expo back. But when I did the expo, I didn't really see a whole lot of those cake shows, that's around bakers, done. But now you're seeing them everywhere.
Yes.
And you said that's how long you've been following me?
Yes.
Since then.
So I've watched you. You're very transparent.
I am.
And
Sometimes I can be.
Yeah.
I can relate to her,
Mhm.
right? So it's not just even when you're like, don't let people just tell you about their numbers, like they're not telling you the truth.
Right.
I remember videos of you in your car, sharing with everybody how. Sorry.
I found your videos in my car.
No, but it was just like sharing the real stuff. Not to say that a lot of people are fake, but we tend to see a lot of the ups and not a lot of the downs. So
Yeah.
we think that it's always riding on a high.
Mhm.
So if you're looking at yourself and you're trying to come up, in it, you're just like, oh my gosh, that's horrible because you know what I mean? Everybody else is just showing rainbows and sprinkles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you show like the mud and the kitchen on fire. Like I really appreciate you were very real and relatable.
you.
So
Thank you.
that's what keeps me.
That was my reason, honestly, just to let everybody know who don't know, about why I do what I do. That was the reason why I started being so face forward, on social media and letting people know in the baking industry what it really is.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because so much, and I've been on social media for so many years. When you see bakers, they're showing you all the highs.
Yeah.
And they showing you all the highs, and they showing you all of these cake reels. I done seen enough goddamn cake in my day. Every time you scroll on Instagram looking at bakers, all you see is how you made that cake.
Mhm.
But nobody is teaching you how to sell it. Nobody is teaching you how to sell it. Nobody is teaching you about the business. So I'm like, do these people have a business or do they have hobbies? Because do they even know how to run the business? Let me show them what really goes on, in this industry, what nobody is actually talking about. Because like you just said, you have so many people, they keep on showing this side of them on social media to lead their viewers to believe that they're always up and they don't never go through anything. And that is the furthest from the damn truth. And I don't like that's what I don't like about social media, about these influencers and these creators when they come on and they're teaching you about business and they want you to buy this product and buy this product that is going to get them that car that you're driving in your video, or that's going to get them that house that you're living in, or that's going to get them that bag, that you have. No, it might not give you that, but it's damn sure going to take you from it's going to take you 10 steps ahead from where you are now. So that's why I tell people you're going to pay either way. You're either going to pay with your time or you're going to pay with your money. You have to decide for your business which one you want to pay for. And I much rather pay with my money because I want to pay for results. Instead of paying with my time. I pay with my time. I'm going to be tired, stressed, broke, confused. I mean, everything that I don't want to be. That's what I'm going to be when I pay with my time. Because I've done all of that. Like I said, my business failed twice before I got it right. And that's why I don't want people to feel like I'm always shoving something in their face that I'm trying to sell them.
Right.
Yeah and no. I'm trying to sell you something that's going to help better you for your business. I'm selling you a result. I cannot give you that result for free. I'm sorry.
It wasn't around when I first started.
Yeah.
It was a lot of trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't YouTube. It wasn't nobody. It was just like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
How do I do this? How do I stack a cake? How do I? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm going to sell you my results. Yes. Yeah. I'm not giving you my results for free because that result cost me blood, sweat, tears, and like I said, everything that I didn't want to have happen. So yeah. So I'm definitely going to sell you that result. So how do you manage customers' expectations and their feedback? Like when you do orders from them, like have you ever had a bad customer and how did you handle it?
Oh gosh, I can't say I've really had a bad customer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said,
no.
Go ahead. No, not saying that. I think it's because I'm very detail oriented, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I probably not intentionally overwhelm them when we're going through the process. But I'm like trying to cross every T and dot every I. This is the expectation. I don't copy other people's work. It's my interpretation. Let's pick. I will say 3. If they send inspo pictures.
Mhm.
Let's pick 3 things that you like out of it, and I'll
Mhm.
incorporate it. Sometimes I do a sketch. I've stopped doing sketches as much because I was finding that people would take the sketch that maybe took me an hour to do.
Pause. So, I'm about to get on you now. Wait, pause. So you're doing a sketch before you receive a deposit?
I was doing
What? Why? Why?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so they would take the sketch.
I mean, you didn't know.
Yeah, some people, not everybody,
Right.
but they would take the sketch and come back and say, you know how the tag question?
Yeah, hell
Yeah.
no.
You know, maybe I will not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take this sketch to somebody else.
So they would take the sketch. So I've been through that. Like I didn't have to know that. You know, you just know. Like, okay, you just bid with a sketch and everything.
Charge for everything.
Yes.
Everything down to the damn piece of gold foil that you're
Yes.
fixing on that damn cake. You're supposed to charge for absolutely everything. Which brings me to my next question. So how do you price your product? Like, do you find yourself struggling with that?
I struggled real bad for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was because I cut myself out of the equation. You know, it was me not compensating myself. So it was okay, let me make sure I get the money back that I put in, you know, the money for, you know, the business, but not compensating myself for a long, long time.
For a long, long time.
A very long, long,
wow.
time. So it's just like, why am I doing this?
So you was basically working for free.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you price your things better now where you can see a profit?
But I do feel like I need to kick it up a notch. Because you're also paying for experience and blood, sweat, and tears type thing.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what would you charge if a customer was to come to you and they need an 8-inch round cake, you know, custom design? Like you're a custom design, not the bare minimum, but not over the top either, like somewhere in the middle. What would you charge them for that cake and why?
It honestly depends. So I have a starting price.
Okay. What's the starting price?
The starting price for 8-inch is $190.
Okay, go.
So then we build from
I was going to clutch my.
I don't know what it used to be. But then I realized, like, what am I doing? Or I would take things, you know, I guess we all kind of go through the phase where we do everything. Like it was narrowing down my niche. Like, what is it I really like to do? Like, I don't want to do carved cakes, but what am I doing then? Oh, it's money. I need an order. Or I don't want to do Superman flying through the air, but I'm taking it but then I'm stressing myself to death because it's not something that's really me. It's me saying I want to please the customer and I need the business. But the price that I had to pay with my sanity was no longer worth it.
So what cakes would you not touch now?
Anything carved. I carved nothing.
I
hate
agree.
to see the cake, you know, falling away, you know, and just that whole dynamic. I would never do a carved cake.
Yeah.
I don't want to do, you're the fondant queen. I don't cover anything in fondant.
I don't even want to touch fondant no more, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I maybe to add a little pizzazz or something, but not even. I was thinking on the way here, like, how many fondant molds did I have that I will never use again? Oh my
God, yes. It's hundreds. Like really like hundreds. Yeah. So fondant cakes, I very rarely touch fondant cakes now unless the customer requests it. If they request it, then I'll do a fondant cake. But if they don't request it, I'm not touching a fondant cake. Carved cakes, I'm definitely not touching carved cakes no more because people don't want to pay the premium price now. No. Nobody really wants to pay the price for for a carved cake. So what marketing strategies? What marketing strategies have worked best for promoting your baking business?
That's what I'm trying to do.
What do you love about it?
Oh gosh. So marketing is something I need to really, really work on.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'm at the point where I need to, you try to get outside of your sphere. Right. So it's like, I think it's time for me to maybe do some paid ads on social media.
You should.
Yeah.
You should definitely do some paid ads. Yeah. You can run a paid ad on Facebook for $3 a day. Yeah. That's $90 a month. You know, I tell that, to people as well. If you don't have a marketing budget for your business, then what are you really doing? Because how are you promoting it? I had someone reached out on my Instagram page the other day when I was talking about this very thing, marketing, and they said that they use direct mailing. I was like, that still work? Because I'm like, that still works. And she was like, the comment was like, I still get 90% of my customers from direct mailing. I said 90%. You're doing amazing if you get a 90% return from direct mailing. Yeah, most people don't open their mail, so I kind of found that hard to believe that you're getting 90% return on direct mailing. That just didn't make sense to me. But yeah, with Facebook, I really think with Facebook they should run a Facebook ad for a minimum of $3 a day, so that way you can continue to stay in front of your audience at all times. And that's just with a traffic campaign. And then you can retarget those same people that you put that $3 ad in front of. You can go ahead and put another ad in front of them for retarget, for $1. That's just like your safety net.
Right.
So that way, when they seen your ad from that regular traffic campaign, they might forget about it. That retargeting ad is going to make sure that you stay. Yes, it's going to make sure that you stay in front of that customer.
So that's where I am working.
Yeah, because social media, it definitely has an impact on online businesses.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like you're struggling with? I probably already asked this, or did you even answer it? What marketing, strategy are you using? Like, how are you getting the customers in the door, to your business? Is it word of mouth?
A lot of it is honestly word of mouth.
Really?
Yes, I get a lot.
That's amazing.
Or someone will be at an event where the cake was and be like, oh my gosh, cousin Lucy really like that cake. Here's her number. And then cousin Lucy comes and she's like, oh, I had an event and Aunt Jane wants, okay. So I would say probably 70%.
Really?
Is word of mouth.
Really?
Surprisingly, TikTok has been, I never thought.
Love TikTok.
I never thought that I would get necessarily business. I'm like, it's such a broad, audience. Like, how in the world is anyone going to target down to just be like, yeah, because people are from everywhere. But I have connected with so many people local.
Listen, TikTok
amazing people who support, and just come out or purchase things for me based off of the presence on social media.
TikTok is where it's at. Instagram used to be like number one, standing tall, with marketing, but now TikTok
it's TikTok.
TikTok is definitely king right now.
Yeah, it would be TikTok for me, then Instagram, then Facebook. In that order.
yeah. Facebook is always last, though, right? Because Facebook is not hitting no more like it used to be. It's really not, because people, they want visual now. The quirky, funny, crazy stuff like your page.
But can I tell you though? I did not want to show my face.
Really?
So for a long time on TikTok. So for a long time, it was this. Let me just show the cake. Let me just show the cake. And I had the content creator say, "Well, who is the crazy cake lady? Like, we see your cakes, but who the heck are you?" And he was like, wants to know. And that's when I realized, a lot of you are your brand, right? So I would want to know, like, who the heck the crazy cake, like, who that person is.
She? Yes.
And I'm still struggling. Even coming here, when I was like, great podcast, I don't have to be seen. And when you said it was live, I was like,
yes, honey, it is live. It's live for all the viewers to see on YouTube.
Going live is.
So you don't go live?
No, I need to.
Yes.
But it's the perfectionist part, right? So when I did real estate, it was the same thing. My broker was there. When you're going through, you show these houses, you need to go live. No, bro.
Yeah.
You know why? I would be the one that's showing the house and not tripping, falling down the steps.
Yeah.
Like, you can't erase that. People see that,
But to play on that just a little bit, do you know the engagement and traction you will get to your page if you just so happen to have a video, you made a mistake and you tripped and fell? Do you know how much engagement that will blow your page? Because that's the crazy dumb shit they want to do. No, seriously.
To be known for the person,
the
lady that
but if it's putting money in your pocket, it's like a no-brainer.
Fall out.
Yeah,
that's
fall out. I will do
that. Is the area I really have to work on and overcome.
Yeah,
because it was like into anxiety. Did she say live? What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So how do you stay up with the latest trends and the techniques
Oh
and things like that?
gosh, I don't.
You don't. Okay.
So, okay, what I mean by that is at some point I was like, oh, they're doing this. Let me hop on that. The burn away cakes was a no for me. I was like,
Yeah.
to me, that's a liability.
That is a liability.
No.
A customer, prime example, came into the shop Saturday and asked, yeah, I wanted to know, do you guys do burn away cakes? I said, no, that is a liability. She said, this is the fourth bakery that I went to,
Yes.
and you guys all told me the same thing. May I ask why? I said, I don't know who started this trend. I was like, you got a lot of home bakers that do it, but I'm not fitting to risk my license and my permits for a burn away cake if something was to happen, to somebody and they try to blame it on me. The
Right.
burn away cakes is so the burn away cakes is where you take the edible image paper and you put the edible image paper on top of the cake, whatever image you want to put on it. And then you're going to put a thin piece of wafer paper on top of that. The wafer paper is what you're going to actually burn. So, yeah, like literally put a match to and light it up. What can I say? Get fire. Yes, you're literally sticking fire to a damn cake, and the wafer paper burns away from the fire that you lit from it, and then you have this surprise, at the end.
Like it reveals the image underneath.
Right. So that's what a burn away cake is, and that's why you're always going to find these actual retail bakeries. We're staying far, far, far away from a burn cake because you're putting our license at risk, with doing something like that, and it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so tell us about some of the goals that you have, for your business. Where do you see your business in the next 5 years, and how do you plan on achieving them? Yeah.
Okay.
I could wait to ask that.
I used to see myself with a storefront.
Okay.
I no longer see myself. Like I wanted a cafe, kind of like with the artsy, because it's me, vibe to it. But it's a lot of. So I've worked in the restaurant industry and have close friends who have businesses. I've worked, and I'm just like, nope, thank you. It's too much. And I'm older, like I'm 54, and I have a young daughter.
You what? 54, girl, you look amazing.
I'm 54, so it's like, do I want to be tied, to a brick and mortar?
Right.
I want to travel and do some things, So that's no longer really a goal. Now maybe I change my mind. I'm crazy. Who knows? But I would like a truck.
Yeah. Food trucks are
I would like a truck, and I get these crazy ideas, even in terms of desserts and events. Right? So I rebranded Milan's last year, and I did a photo shoot, and it was amazing. Right? So I'm animated. It's crazy, right? So, and I had this affinity for tea parties. So the photo shoot was based off of the Mad Hatter Tea Party. So I was all these characters, right? So, you love it, see? Right? Yeah. Okay. So then I started thinking, well, what if I could be the crazy cake lady at events where people have desserts?
Right.
So there's like some ideas that I have. I've never seen it done, so I'm not gonna say a lot.
Right.
But some just off the wall things. And I think it piggybacks off of something you asked me about. How do I stay focused or stay motivated? And what I find that I have to do is stop looking at everybody else. Because it will cause me to halt what I know God is telling me to do. Because I'm like, oh, well, this person was successful doing this. Well, maybe I need to do that. Or this person was successful doing that. I guess I should be doing that. It's like, no, girl.
Yeah.
Stop looking at everybody else. Not to say that, you don't get inspiration, but stop looking at how they structure their business. Like what is it that God is calling me to do?
Right.
It's not going to look like everybody else.
Yeah.
I have to be okay.
I understand that's completely
So that's
fine.
like a scary territory. I'm like, you want me to do what? Like these things that come in my head is just like, okay. Like who's going to want that? But I believe when God gave it to me, there's something
going on. So, all in all, you want to go the food truck route.
I want to go the food truck route, and I want to do some really fun, funky things with events and desserts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, I love food trucks. Food trucks is cash cows, honey. Because if I had to do it all over again, listen, it will definitely be a food truck. If I had to do it all over again.
What is my plan? Was your part two?
Yeah. You were still working on your plan. It's okay.
I'm working on that. Like it's like so that's where I get a little I get hung up in the details. Like I'm very to the T, and I'll go off. Like even if I'm like, okay, I'm redoing my packaging, and I'm over here, I'm over there. Like, okay, well, what size is that? Well, what about over here? What about over there? And I get so hung up, like I want to ship cookies, but I'm so hung up at what it's supposed to look like. I'm not shipping the cookies, so it's like, girl, get yourself together.
So it's like, are you ever going to start because you're trying to?
Yes, I'm trying to perfect it.
Yeah.
I'm so hung up in the perfectionism of it.
Yeah,
that I'm not.
That's what keeps you stuck.
That keeps me stuck.
Yeah.
So that is like a big issue.
Yeah. So you guys, you see and hear that perfection is what's going to keep you stuck.
Yes.
If you're sitting there trying to make sure everything is perfect, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the right time. It's never going to get done. The only way to make it perfect is to actually start and do it and perfect it as you go, because it's never going to be perfect right out the gate. So again, like I said, you guys, you have an easy way out now. Not an easy way out. I should say an easier way to do things now in business versus how it was many years ago.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to, paying with your time. Why would you want to do that? When there's so many resources. It's a plethora of resources out here that's going to give you the results that you need, that's going to give you the resources that you need immediately. You don't have to go searching on Google. You don't have to figure it out. You ain't got to go comment on somebody's post and hopefully they respond back to you. Because let me explain something to you. I see a lot of comments going around on social media, where as though you're asking the influencer that made the post or the expert in that field in that post, you're asking them a question and they're not responding back to you. They're not responding back to you for a reason. Because that result is going to cost you. So try not to get all up in arms and get so tight and stressed because your answer is not being responded to. Let me tell you something. Your answer is not going to be responded to. You have to pay for that result. You know what I mean? Because they had to pay for that result. So if they have to pay for that result, you think we're going to give that result to you for free? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely. Or recipes.
Yeah. I see a lot of that, like, recipe, please. And
Yeah.
But the amount of time that you have to do it,
which made me post my which made me post my recipe for a price. Cynthia, can you give me a Swiss meringue buttercream recipe? Yeah, if you pay for it, I'm not giving it to you for free. Yeah, no, I'm not giving you my recipes for free. I might give you a tip, or something of value that you can use for free. But for me to go deep down in the rabbit hole and answer that question for you, it won't be for, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest about that. It will not be, because I had to pay for those results. So I can't give, and I spend money on courses, what I need to learn, because one thing's for sure, two things for certain. I'm not paying no more with my time. I did that for far too many years with paying for my time. So now I'm going to pay with my money because I need a result like now. I don't have time to sit and try to figure nothing out. I just don't, because my business is not going to grow that way anyway. You know what I mean? I have to pay for a result so that way I can be able to move forward and move into the next area of business that I desire to go to. You know what I mean? So yes. So if it's anything that you have to tell bakers that's watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, what would you tell them to motivate them about their baking business?
I would say to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself and surround yourself with people who are farther than you are. Surround yourself with people who aren't competitive. What I mean by that is that they want to see you win. Not the type of people that's just like, oh yeah, okay, girl, go ahead, but not really pushing you, or the days where you're doubting yourself. They're not, encouraging you to move forward. But you have to believe in yourself. Number
Yeah.
one. Because if you doubt yourself, then no one else is going to, believe in you. Like you have to. No one's going to rescue you. No one's going to save you.
Listen, I say that every day.
No one's going to rescue you. No one's going to save you. When you work for yourself, the weight of, it falls on you. So don't look for, even validation. Like I have validation from everybody else. No, you validate your own.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
You have to, because in those moments where it looks like, how the heck am I going to make this work? Or I still ask myself sometimes, like, you want to do what? Sure, this is what you want to do. But I know, that's what I'm called to do. So I would just say, believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, you guys. So that brings us to our closing of today's episode. But just like Lonnie said, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you. And get out there and put that work in for your business. You have to pour into your business. You have to pour into your business in order for your business to pour into you. And that's just self-explanatory, telling you exactly what you need to do. You have to invest in your business if you want your business to invest back into you. Thanks you guys for tuning in so very much. And we'll see you here next Monday, the same time, same place at Bakers Unleashed. And your favorite bakery business coach is out. Thanks you guys. Have a good one.